All right, it's on, guys. Oh man,
dude, these bikes are fun.
that's too fun, bro. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today we're here at Los Angeles Harley-Davidson, and last week, as you know, I had the amazing opportunity to test ride the 2020 LiveWire. Wow. This is such an amazing experience.
What's up, guys? It's Damian at Los Angeles Harley-Davidson, and I'm going to tell you guys why the LiveWire is the most premium electric motorcycle on the market. What's up, guys? So I'm going to introduce you to the Harley-Davidson Revelation motor, which is this big piece right here. It's a permanent magnetic motor, which also generates 100% of its rated torque instantly. So you're going to get about 86 foot-pounds of torque from this motor, and it also is going to help the LiveWire hit 105 horsepower. And the cool thing about it is most of that power and torque comes right when you hit the throttle.
Here we go.
So you're going and getting about 105 horsepower from the Harley-Davidson Revelation motor, and you also go 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, and from 60 to 80 you're gonna go 1.9 seconds. So 4.9 seconds total, you're going from 0 to 80.
So, can this bike do highway? I think so. I think it can.
The LiveWire actually has a top speed of 115 miles per hour, and I can speak from experience on that one. It's actually a liquid and air-cooled motor, so you can see the air-cooled portion of everything starts right up here where it has all these ridges, and all of this is designed to take in air the most efficient way, and then it actually uses these fins, which are part of the cast aluminum frame, and it directs all the air back towards here until it comes back and it actually meets with the liquid cooled portion of the bike, and it's actually helping cool off that liquid as it's circulating through the bike and cooling everything else off. Now the liquid cooled portion of the bike, it actually the start of the cycle is actually somewhere up here, and it'll come down and it actually is surrounding the entire motor, and it's helping keep the motor and the battery cool, which helps you with that quick get up and go speed. Like, it's basically the reason that right when you hit the throttle, you're beating almost any other vehicle, even electric vehicles, off the line. I was actually talking to a guy the other day who has a LiveWire, and he raced a Tesla, and he said the only Tesla that'll take the LiveWire off the line is a warmed up P100D. With a bike as fast as the LiveWire, you're going to need a really good braking setup. So what Harley did is they put dual floating rotors up here, 300 millimeters each. On those rotors you got Brembo brakes, and they're actually Brembo's monoblock brakes, basically a sport bike setup. You have RDRS, which is Harley's new braking system for 2020. It stands for Reflex Defensive Rider Systems, and that's a collection of a few separate technologies. The first one would be linked brake, which means that you could hit either the rear brake pedal or the front brake pedal, and it's going to distribute braking power between the front and the rear wheel correctly. There's a sensor next to the rotor, and also a sensor next to the rotor on the rear wheel. But Reflex Defensive Rider System stands for a lot more than that. There's actually sensors, which you can see they start up here and then they run all along the frame of the bike all the way to the rear wheel too. So you have the cornering enhanced ABS, which will help you out a ton in the corner if you entered the corner with a little bit too much entry speed. And you also have cornering enhanced traction control. So once you hit the traction control up there, say that it's a little bit of a rainy night or something, you're going around a corner too quick, you have the traction control already enabled, it'll automatically slow you down so that you don't break traction with the road. Harley designed the LiveWire to be a really lightweight and nimble ride, so the cast aluminum frame has a lot to do with that, and they also balanced it really well. Now, with a lightweight and nimble ride, you want to have a sporty suspension, especially on a bike like the LiveWire. Harley-Davidson put Showa separate function big piston suspension on the front end. It's going to be a dual bending valve as well, which means that inside of both of the front forks you have one valve that's going to take most of the first impact, and then the second valve is actually going to reinforce that one. So instead of getting a giant dip in your front end when you hit the front brake, or if you hit a pothole or something, it actually just keeps your ride really smooth, which is really what Harley-Davidson went for with the LiveWires, to make a really smooth ride. It's almost nothing like any other Harley-Davidson.
Wow. Damn, guys. Very stable. I don't feel like this bike is, look, I got one hand, we're going almost 70. Super stable.
The LiveWire features Showa monoshock on it. Harley-Davidson put balanced free rear cushion light. Really what it is, it's a fully adjustable suspension. It comes with a tool where you can adjust it to stiffen or soften it. The LiveWire is just meant to be a lot smoother than any other bike that Harley-Davidson's ever made.
Oh yeah. This is wow.
Harley has come together with Michelin to design these tires, so they're dual branded tire. You have a 120 millimeter front tire and a 180 millimeter rear tire, and they're just designed to enhance the handling of the LiveWire basically. They're called the Michelin Scorcher tires. Harley-Davidson features a 4.3 inch touchscreen on the LiveWire, and it's a really high resolution. That way when it's a really bright and sunny day, you could actually still see the screen while you're out riding. And it also is like the reason why the LiveWire is the most connected motorcycle experience that you can actually probably find on any motorcycle in the world. And before you can start up anything, there's a few safety checkpoints that you'll have to cross. Like one is raising up the kickstand, which I've already done. Then you have to press start, and you also would have to release the twist grip, because you can get yourself in a lot of trouble if the bike was on and you hit the throttle. And we've heard of a few incidents already happening. Once you see the green lines and also the 0 miles per hour, you can tell that the bike is on. And if I was to move the throttle a little bit, you can see it wants to move, and that was just a hair. So on the LiveWire, you can control all the different modes that come on it with a button on the handlebars. So you can go between range modes, so you can get more miles out of your battery. You can go with road mode, so that you just are having fun on the canyons, twists and turns. Sport mode's where all the magic happens, because you have 100% of your throttle, and then you also have 80% regenerative braking, which, like, you have to ride it to really see what we're talking about. But when you are going 60, 80, and then you roll off the throttle, the bike almost instantly just starts to slow down. Like, you don't even need to hit any of the brakes. And at the same time that you're doing that, it's using some of the kinetic energy from slowing down to recharge your battery slightly. Then you also have a few different empty mode slots down here. Now you can actually create custom modes on the LiveWire, where you can mess around with how much regenerative braking that you're gonna apply, how much throttle that you're gonna use, how much power from the battery you're gonna use. And we also had one guy, his name's Diego, he's actually started 3 or 4 days ago from Mexico border, and he's headed up to the Canadian border on I-5, which is the West Coast Green Highway. And there's a bunch of charging stations which are part of the Electrify America network, where he's using to go all the way from Mexico to Canada on a LiveWire. Now he created his own mode called Beast Mode, which is 100% power, 100% throttle, and 0% regenerative braking. Let's go into some of the other features on here. So if you actually had your phone connected to this, it's a Bluetooth, and it's also LTE and GPS connected too. If you had your phone on here, you'd be able to listen to your music, cycle through there. On this side, you see your odometer, trip A, trip B, and all this is controlled by a little joystick on the handlebars. If you had any navigation playing, then it would tell you left turn here at this road in this many miles. So it kind of helps out a lot with someone that's riding, being able to see and not have to look at their phone. And also all of this is interchangeable, so if you'd rather have your music on this side compared to your GPS on this side, you can flip-flop it all in the settings. Here's the settings right here, so here's where you can see you can kind of make your own ride modes. You have sport. Let's just show you what sport looks like. So 100% power, 80% regenerative braking, 80% throttle, and high traction control, because obviously when you're going crazy on the throttle, you want to have a lot of traction with the road, and you want the bike to use all the technology it's set up with to keep you safe and not break traction with the road. So in 2020, Harley-Davidson also released HD Connect, which is basically a phone app where you can connect your bike to your phone. That's why the LiveWire is LTE capable. So let's say that you parked somewhere down in downtown LA or something. Obviously, it's a little risky area to leave an expensive motorcycle. So you connect your phone to your bike, leave your bike, lock the forks and everything, and then someone comes and messes with your bike. The bike's actually going to connect to the LTE satellite, and then that's going to send a message down to your phone. It's going to say, hey, someone's messing with your bike. You should probably go check it out. And then also, there's a bunch of different details on your phone with the HD Connect app. It'll tell you your battery level if you were left it charging. That way you can tell if it's done charging. It'll tell you also a bunch of details about your previous trips, like how many miles you've gotten, how many average miles you're getting per charge, because you'll get a little bit of variation between how different riders ride their bike. If you're always all throttle all the time, you're probably going to get about 100 miles, 90 miles range. If you're all city and maybe you don't even get over 80 miles per hour that often, you can probably get about 130 to 140 miles out of the LiveWire. So right here is where your charging port is. You can open it up, and you have 3 different charging levels on the bike. So charging level 1 would actually be just your household charger, which would plug in just right here, and you could charge the bike up to 100% battery in about 12-13 hours. And then they have level 2, which would be the same exact plug, but just like as if you plugged it into a dryer outlet, just to get a little more power. It'd probably still take you about 10 hours. Now here's where the level 3 fast charging kicks in, and you can use any of the Electrify America charging stations where you can charge your Tesla and everything, any other electric vehicle. You plug it in here and it'll charge the LiveWire to 80% in 40 minutes or 100% battery in just an hour. And also any LiveWire certified Harley-Davidson dealership will be set up with free charging for any LiveWire owner. And then also what Diego's doing riding the West Coast Green Highway is using the Electrify America network, which you get a 1-year membership for. That way you can charge your LiveWire anywhere that has a Tesla charging station as well. So the LiveWire features Harley-Davidson's Daymaker headlight, which is one of the most premium headlights in the motorcycle industry, and it kind of speaks for itself. So if you have the brights on, which actually aren't on yet, there they are. If you turn the brights on, you could actually see probably a good quarter mile. I've even heard some people tell me it's a half mile down the road when it's pitch black at night. So there's no visibility problems on the LiveWire. Harley-Davidson really put as many premium options as they possibly could onto the LiveWire because it's the first electric motorcycle, and they're aiming to be the most premium electric motorcycle in the entire industry.
Well, I hope you guys found that informative, and thank you, Damian, for going over
No problem,
all the
man.
features. I had a blast on the bike, and I just took it on the freeway, and I was absolutely amazed at how it performed on the freeway. It was just so smooth. Yeah, if you're ever here at Los Angeles Harley-Davidson, ask for Damian.
Absolutely, man. Anyone that wants to take one for a ride and is kind of interested in it, you can come down, and as long as you have an M1 on your license or you have your motorcycle license from somewhere else, you could take one for a ride. No, it's all free, no obligations. We really want as many people as possible to experience this because there's nothing else out there like it. This is probably the closest thing to a sport bike Harley's ever made until next year when the Bronx comes out, which is actually Harley's actual first sport bike that they're going to be making. but it's definitely, even though it's no shifting, only throttle, it is absolutely something you want to be experienced before you ride. And just because of how much power is under here, it's instantaneous. It's just.
Oh yeah, guys. Throw some bags on here. This is your everyday commuter.
Gone. It's like a slingshot. That's
Exactly.
really what it is. A slingshot or skydiving or any of those different things. That's the only thing you can compare it to. One of a kind experience. Absolutely, and I think they probably will be taking different other routes and making some beginner electric motorcycles. That's why Harley made the LiveWire, is just to kind of cement themselves as a leader in the electric vehicles, especially for motorcycles. Because I know Tesla said they're not going to be making any electric motorcycles ever. So Harley is like, well, someone has to be the leader in that sector of the industry, you know? So they've been working on the project LiveWire since 2014, actually, and it wasn't until 2020, so it's been in development for 6 years. It's not like they just were like, bam, we're an electric vehicle dealer now. No, they've really put their work into this.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk, his whole reason for not wanting to make an electric motorcycle is because I think he had a bad experience when he was
Yeah,
younger.
I actually read that a few days ago too, yeah.
So yeah, so he thinks motorcycles are dangerous, and they are, so this is why this bike needs to be respected, and you know, with this much power comes great responsibility. You know, people can't hear you, so your style of riding has to be different. You got to ride like you're invisible when you're on this thing.
No other way to put it.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are ever looking for a motorcycle, you want to check out the LiveWire, be sure to schedule your demo ride.
Doing demo rides not 24/7, but any day we're open.
Until next time, you guys have a good one. Peace. All right. Like, I know a lot of you Harley riders like those loud motorcycles, those pipes. But there's something to appreciate about a stealthy bike as well. You know, like you trying to sneak out the house at night, this is the bike, man. If you're trying to stay out past curfew and dodge the cops, this is the bike. You're not gonna get away on a loud Harley. They're gonna hear you from blocks away. So if your goal is to stay stealth, this is the bike you want. So if you're like a superhero on the side, you know, or you Batman, this is definitely, you know, Batman material type of motorcycle. You know, Power Rangers as well. I feel like this is definitely a good Power Ranger bike.